Good morning, everyone. Sarah here at Three Little Potters, and I'm ready to do a kiln opening with you. I have been waiting a little while to open this. I had sort of a back-to-back wedding thing, and so this is going to be a rare time in which I open a cold kiln. I know there's a lot of debate. I usually open my kiln at 400 degrees. Right now it's at 60. So I don't even need gloves, and that is going to be a very rare thing. Some interesting things on the top shelf. I did look at the top shelf when I got home late at night and kind of had a little look. It wasn't as incredible as I hoped, but yeah, let me flip you around. We can check it out together. All right, here's that top shelf. Okay, so yes, I tried to make some Christmas ornaments in a really interesting sort of way. And I don't know if I like them. Maybe that one. After I threw them, I didn't like them. But when I glazed them, I started to feel a little differently about them. The asymmetry of them wasn't quite as noticeable. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Okay, so we'll look at them. Here we go. So I was watching a tutorial and I was like, that would just take too long. So I sort of tried. What I did was I threw these off the hump sort of upside down like this. So they're hollow insides. I threw them, I closed the form, I made the top part. And then when I was sort of pinching it off, I tried to do it in like a clever way. So you'll see with a couple of them. So when you're doing that and it's still running around, like, well, running around, while it's still spinning, it kind of knocks the top really off center. So it's very hard with like wet clay to keep that sort of on enough while you're pinching to kind of keep it looking symmetrical. But they're not terrible. They're not terrible. And I'm wondering if it's maybe something that I could get good at. And, you know, I don't know if this is the right glaze combo. So what we're looking at here is indigo blue underglaze, sort of highlighting some of these grooves, and then it's a dip of micro pearl over that underglaze. So this section here is just underglaze, and the very bottom here is just underglaze. So if you saw how these were, I recognized that they would be too heavy for these kiln stilts. So my plan was for it to rest on the bottom of the kiln shelf with just this underglaze tip. Now the problem was that here, let me get out my rack here. We'll do this one last one first too. Okay. How did this one come out? So this one did not have a lot of sort of decorations. This was kind of a pull twist off of the hump. So I did some sort of lines in that blue underglaze that are showing through the micro pearl there, which is kind of pretty, I think. And then just that tip is the blue underglaze. So my plan being that they were going to, here, I'll show you with this one, sit on the bottom of my kiln, but I didn't measure them to be in line with these grooves. So some of them were too big and some of them were too short. So it does look like I have bent my wires more than I wanted to, but I guess I can still use them for this purpose. All right, this one was probably the least successful. That's okay. So I decided that when they were coming out not great and I was just learning, I'm like, all right, I'm going to finish them anyway. They might look nice, like tied on a Christmas gift or something like that. So some of them were, so this one I think was thrown like this. Yeah. And I know there's a lot of ways that you can make these ornaments that are more time consuming and have perhaps a better result. I think this is pretty good though. This one looks good. Okay, so the tutorial I watched, it took like an hour to make each one. The method I used took about 90 seconds per each one. So not perfect, but I feel like there's a ceiling as to what people might pay for a Christmas ornament. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe I could get good at it. I kind of like this one though. You guys will have to let me know in the comments, are these ugly or is this worth pursuing and learning how to throw off the hump in that way? Oh, what's this last one? Okay, this one's not as good. I don't know. They have sort of a rustic charm though. Okay, Christmas ornaments. Okay. So since it's been a few days, we'll have to see if I can remember these glazes too. I think we'll be good, but we'll see. Okay, so this was Flux Blossom and, excuse me, Fire Brick Red and Power Turquoise. I was trying to break out some glazes that I haven't used in a little while, but who knows? I've got a test on the next shelf too. This is My Blue Heaven over Studio White with Dirty Snow on that rim. Again, using that wiggle wire on the bottom. Looks pretty good except for my kiln shelves being what my kiln shelves usually are. Oh, that's interesting. Okay, that's my first try with Ancient Copper over Sheltoe Clay there at the bottom. So this was, it had white in the middle first and then dipped to here. Where the Ancient Copper is, it's just Ancient Copper times 2-ish. And then over top of the white is Louisiana Bayou by Spectrum and a little bit of Shipwreck here. And a little teeny bit of snow, dirty snow right on that rim too. That one was pretty good, right? All right. Speckled Grapple. Okay, so wait, this little dish has a story. I broke it and then I made the broke part match on each side so that you could put chopsticks there. So yeah, just a little teeny noodle bowl. All right. This was River Birch and Lunar Pink on Sheltoe Clay. Ancient Copper, and I'm sorry, River Birch. The inside was a pour of white. I think it could have gone a little thicker on that Ancient Copper. For those that think I always remember glazes perfectly, I had to just pause and go check my shelf to make sure that it was Ancient Copper because there's the copper float, there's like an antique copper. I was correct, it's Ancient Copper, but yeah, it's hard to remember sometimes. Tiger's Eye. And that's just it by itself times 3 brush coats. Chun Seafoam, a little bit of Jen's Juicy Fruit on that rim. The inside is poured with a Hansen glaze with cobalt in it. And actually I think I used maybe Nazarene blue stain in that glaze, not cobalt. But yeah, I need to use up this blue. I made a really big bucket of it a long time ago, and I just don't use a lot of blue glazes. And so now I'm kind of stuck with this pail of blue. I think I'm going to pour it on the inside of more things. That looks pretty good. Okay. One little spot that I need to grime, but not bad. Okay, so the inside is Hansen 20x5 recipe with 5% Victoria Green Mason stain. My dogs are going to keep barking. And the outside was a dip of Chun Seafoam. Pause. All right, the dogs have maybe stopped barking. So a dip of Chun Seafoam right up to that rim. I kind of lightly held it here. And then I did a band of Shipwreck up top and just a teeny bit of Dirty Snow. It seems to have moved quite a lot. And I like that it doesn't necessarily read as the Shipwreck glaze right away. Like you're not seeing the big black crystals. It just kind of looks like, I don't know, has that underwater feel to it. Very glossy. All right, that one was good. Oh, this one's on a cookie. Ah, and the cookie boo-booed it. Look at that. It was in a dirty section of my kiln shelf, so I guess I'm glad that's not on the bottom of the piece, but clean your kiln shelves. Speckled grapple over studio white with dirty snow. Yeah, this one, I did look at this already. So, see that hole? That's actually a hole. That's a piece of organic matter that burnt out straight through. This was green tea over studio white. Ooh. I know it's got a hole, but I don't need to throw it too. All right, a rising sun chang. That's the mixed glaze with a shipwreck and dirty snow. Speckled grapple on a little thicker this time. I like that deep purple. Yes, speckled grapple over studio white with dirty snow. Floating lavender on sheltoey clay. Ooh, that's lunar pink on night glaze. And as we can see, it crawled. I might be able to fix that in a refire though, so put that in the other stack. My Blue Heaven. It's from the Mako Stroking Coat line. And I love all of the Mako speckled stroking coats just at Cone 6. I really think those are strong glazes. Even Green Thumb, which is a little bit... Oh, except for the one. There's one that's, what is it, Pink a Dot that burns out entirely at Cone 6. But the rest of them are great. Variegated Dove Gray with a dip of studio white on that rim. All right. This is, I think, the nail in the coffin for this glaze clay combo. Okay, so this dish was, if you can see that, it was already messed up. I messed it up getting it off the kiln and kind of dropped it. I did a glaze test anyway. Can you see those pinholes? So this is Tove on sheltoey clay. And every time I have done Tove with sheltoey clay, I have gotten 1 or 2 pinholes to the point where it just can't be used. So I think I might just give up on that particular combo. Keep the Tove glaze on the B mix, just so I'm not dealing with that much throwing away of things. This is Tove over B mix, and I guess I put a bit of a flux on that. I don't usually. I think it looks like a tiny bit of dirty snow on there. I'm just surprised I don't usually do that. I usually just leave Tove by itself, but it looks very nice. Okay, I think this is River Birch and Chun Seafoam on Rising Sun Chang. On sheltoey, not Rising Sun Chang. That's funny. So this is, I'm not sure why it did this. You see, it's kind of like, I think I didn't, okay, this is what I think happened here. This was a dip of Nebula Blue by Laguna, and I wanted to put Chun Seafoam over it, but I didn't want to go back to the sink and get out the immersion blender, so I tried to hand mix a big bucket of Chun Seafoam. And you can see the result there. There's glaze coverage, but obviously not very well mixed, and I needed to get the blender for that bucket of glaze. Right, here we have, it looks like Micro Pearl and Tove. Not sure why my Micro Pearl is so thin there. Have to dip a little longer, it looks like. And this is green tea, and I feel certain that I was going to put something more on this so that it didn't look like that. But I must have just thought I'd already done that and not. So we'll put that in the refire pile, see if there's any hope there. Tiger's Eye over Studio White. Okay, this was Satin Patina on the bottom, and a bit of lunar pink and floating lavender. I feel like I thought those would match better. I don't know. It's a little bud vase. It's kind of cool. Again, variegated Dove Gray with that dip of Studio White on the rim. All right, next shelf. Well, nothing wowing me about this shelf. I had to kind of strategically place things to not be in other glaze splotches from my last opening. Um, Lots of brownish. I guess it's okay. Right, we'll start with the one that was pretty firmly on the shelf. This was Studio White and Chun Seafoam. I did Chun Seafoam over Shaltoi clay at one point, and I felt like the result was too brown, so I believe here I was trying to layer it more thickly on to get a more green color. But yeah, a little too thick, a little too thick. It's okay. Oh, that's kind of pretty. Oh, okay. So this is, you remember I was sort of theorizing that blue tones looked really good on the Shaltoi clay, that it sort of brought out that blue. So this is a remix of Floating Blue, I believe, here. And yeah, I think it's interesting. Do you see this spot here? It's making me think that I put more than Dirty Snow over top of it, but I'm pretty sure this was just my Floating Blue and Dirty Snow combo. I might have done a line of River Birch because it was out at the exact same time that I was glazing, so that's a possibility. The inside is just the pour of Studio White. Variegated Dove with Floating Blue. This is a new batch of Floating Blue that I just mixed up. It is the Old Forge Creations recipe for Floating Blue. It has manganese in it rather than red iron oxide, which I kind of prefer. Okay, I think this is Black Shadow over Micro Pearl. I'm not exactly sure how I feel about that. This is my Blue Heaven over the white with Dirty Snow. All right, here we have Ancient Copper. I think I probably need to go 3 coats instead of 2 there, but it's pretty. And then the top has a little bit of Louisiana Bayou over River Birch. I wanted to say that this was Lavender Mist. It looks very much like it, but it's Magenta Sky over Studio White. I think a little light on the Magenta Sky. And this is also that same combo. I don't know about that. No, it's not terrible. Okay, so I got out Textured Kiwi. It's been a little while for that glaze. This is Textured Kiwi over Micro Pearl. Again, really bringing out that brown here. This is Textured Kiwi over Studio White, so you can kind of see the difference that that base glaze brings out. This glaze by itself is a pretty solid green that runs a little bit more. If you watched my early review video of green glazes, it was in there. So this is Studio White with Power Turquoise and Eggplant. It has that one really interesting spot there, and that's on the Shaltoi clay. Okay, it's Nebula Blue, it's Eggplant. Yeah, it's Nebula Blue and Eggplant. Oh, and I'm not really sure. Got kind of this brownish rib. Oh, you know what it is. It's the reaction of, it's not eggplant, I'm sorry, it's June purple. And that's the reaction between the two, creating that more of a brown color. I could guess about the ingredients now that I've seen that reaction, but we'll leave it there. Okay. A sand dollar on the bottom with Chun Seafoam at the top. Doing a few beachy, beachy little ones here. And this is Micro Pearl. And I think that is Blue Opal on the top there, with just a little bit of eggplant. I know some of these have eggplant, so. Cactus over Studio White. This is that same combo. Do love that cactus color over that. And cactus can go a little more army green by itself, but over Studio White it has that nice, like a summer green. Tiger's Eye over Sheltowy Clay. I like that on that texture there. Tea drinking pause. Oh my goodness. All right, there's still a lot of dishes in here. So this one crawled a little bit, but it's kind of interesting anyway. I think I might just put that one in the seconds because these crawl spots are kind of filled in. So what is it? It is dove gray, variegated dove gray, and it is textured kiwi. So pretty much losing all of that green and just kind of a really interesting muted pattern there. River birch over night. This was a floating blue over my, oh, it's Delft. That's the stain that's in that blue. Hansen recipe with Delft stain and floating blue and dirty snow over top of that. All right. Here is Sheltowy Clay dipped in Studio White with floating blue and dirty snow. What is this? What is this? It is night, and it is, I think it's smoke. No, let me go check. I have it. So looking around, I believe this is textured dark cloud. Not sure what to think about that. Not sure what to think about this either. I think that's Flux Blossom and Micro Pearl and something else, I think. Okay. This, I believe, is Black Shadow. Or could it be, I think it might be textured dark cloud over Micro Pearl. I've got some, I pulled some glazes out of the archive that I haven't seen in a long time. Floating Celadon over Studio White. Blue Hydrangea over the Delft glaze. That blue hydrangea does have a little bit of dirty snow. Okay, this is Black Shadow and Chun Seafoam. Power Turquoise over Studio White with a strange reddish dot. Ooh, okay, interesting. Blue Opal with floating lavender. Blue Opal is a mixed glaze. This is Blue Hydrangea over Studio White with dirty snow. I believe that is Black Shadow over Micro Pearl. Okay, Shipwreck and Eggplant with dirty snow on Sheltowy Clay. Chun Seafoam and Shipwreck. I like that combo. What do we have here? I believe we have River Birch and Shipwreck over Nebula Blue on Sheltowy. I feel like you could have gotten that combo in a different way, but I think this is textured dark cloud on Micro Pearl. Kind of brownish. Night and Chun Seafoam. I'm sorry, that's textured kiwi, isn't it? It didn't crawl. Didn't do what it usually does either. Looks more like Night and Chun Seafoam. This is Night and Floating Blue with some dirty snow on Sheltowy Clay. I know I did some blue combos. That again was the Delft glaze with floating blue and snow. They're a little darker than I would like. I think I should do that combo on maybe blue opal and see if I can get a little bit more going on. I believe this is Chun Seafoam and green tea with a little bit of dirty snow. My Blue Heaven over Studio White with dirty snow, and that was a shallot by itself with a little bit of dirty snow. And there's a reason why I prefer to do that glaze over Studio White. All right, this next shelf has some Iron Lustre tests for a review video that I'm doing on that glaze. So possibly I may mix up what I'm telling you. Feel free to watch that Iron Lustre video when it comes out if you want a definite answer on glazing any of these. All right, I'm gonna start big because it looks pretty good. This is Iron Lustre over Micro Pearl. And yeah, it's really pretty. I'm not sure if that subtle variation is showing up, but it's just a really pretty brownish, greenish, bluish bowl. So this section here is Iron Lustre by itself, kind of hoping to show that texture. And then where the Micro Pearl is, you're getting even more variation. And the surface looks, no pinholes, no nothing. Bottom's not even bad. Woohoo! All right, floating lavender over Studio White on Sheltoe clay. I think that floating lavender looks better when it's just on the brown clay with nothing under it. Ancient Copper ×3 with a dip of Chun Seafoam on the top of that. There we can see that Delft glaze a little bit closer up. It's got floating blue and dirty snow on the inside. It's cute. I don't know. I think it's Flux Blossom and Floating Blue. It's really muted and really hard to tell. I've got a little bit of something on the rim. It could be one of about 20 glazes and get that look. Okay, this was Flux Blossom with Fire Brick over Sheltoe clay. Some pretty nice strips there. I was thinking I was going to get a little more color, but I do like that. I think it's getting there. I was looking for sort of this look. And My Blue Heaven, it has the Delft glaze on the inside. And this is My Blue Heaven not over Studio White, just brushed by itself. So the glaze is pretty true to color by itself, 2 or 3 coats, and this is 1 coat over the Studio White. So I prefer that application there just because it uses less of the commercial glaze, and I feel like it is just as solid of a color. It has enough pigment in it to make it through there. Wow, okay. Rising Sun Chang was poured on the inside. The outside is Flux Blossom, and what else did I put on there? I feel like it's Magenta Sky, but the color from the Magenta Sky really just burnt out. You're just seeing it kind of on that edge, but it is really pretty. I do like that cup. Blue Opal over Sheltoe with Lynette Opal, and that is what's going on here, isn't it? This is Blue Opal. It has some Blue Opal on it. My guess is it has some Blue Opal and Chun Seafoam and Lynette Opal on it. That's what's going on there. You can kind of see the way that the glaze breaks apart is a little bit unique to Blue Opal, at least on that Sheltoe clay. It's, yeah, I know, I'm looking at it. Is it damaged in the bottom? Oh, it's just my poor throwing. Do you see that? It could be a planter. It could be a planter. Sometimes when you get that spiral in the middle and you forget to sponge it out or sponge it softer. This is Iron Lustre, and I believe it is Lunar Pink and Iron Lustre on the outside. Well, Iron Lustre by itself over brown bear is pretty underwhelming. That's just brown. Okay, that really didn't show. Let's see some other ones. And this is Iron Lustre over Studio White on Shaltoe. Wow, kind of interesting. I don't know. It's got a lot of, it's subtle. It's Smoky Merlot and Iron Lustre. These are all surprises for me. I'm going to go with, that's my Iron Lustre Control. So 3 brushed coats there. Iron Lustre over Chun Seafoam, and that ran. But honestly, it's very pretty. I would do that glaze again, that glaze combo again in a big dish. Maybe I'll do that next time. Ooh. I think this is the Iron Lustre with oatmeal, but I've got a few different ones, actually. Okay, so I've done multiple different flux glazes on Iron Lustre. So one will be oatmeal, one will be Dirty Snow, and I think I did a Lynette Opal. Ooh, what's my guess? I don't know what my guess is, actually. I think this is Dirty Snow over Iron Lustre. I'm going to go with oatmeal over Iron Lustre there. My oatmeal was really thin, so I think it didn't go as nice as expected. I think this might be Floating Celadon over Iron Lustre. Okay, this was Ancient Copper with a band of Iron Lustre in the middle, but it kind of mixed in an unexpected way. All things Iron Lustre. What do we think that is? Not gonna guess. You'll have to watch the other video. Actually, I'm gonna guess. I think River Birch, but are you part of the Iron Lustre? You might be. Could I have put Iron Lustre overnight and then accidentally put a little bit of flux on it as well? I probably did. It was probably a mistake on my part. It was probably supposed to be just Iron Lustre overnight, but I think I did put flux as well. Iron Lustre, when it's dry, is very close to my night glaze when that's dry. So that makes it extra tricky. I think this is Floating Lavender over Iron Lustre. Iron Lustre, browner base than I was thinking. I was thinking that was a little bit more green. It's a mystery. What do I think it is? I think it's Flux Blossom. Oh, you know what it could be? No, I'm not gonna guess. I think that's what it is though. I think this is a Rising Sun Chang with Iron Lustre over top. Like that. A Nebula Blue by Laguna with Iron Lustre. Now that's more of the green tone that I was thinking I was going to get out of that glaze. Iron Lustre over white. I don't like that. That's what the other one was. Last Kiln load, I was like, who put this ugly brown? It's this. It's Iron Lustre over white. So that's a little bit thicker. That's good to know. Good to know. I don't like that combo. Okay, I think I got two more. All right, this is sand dollar with iron luster, and that is a win. That's unexpected. Okay. That makes me happy. That's a good one. Okay, and this is, I don't even know why I got that glaze out. Okay, this is a base of golden honey, the ever so hated golden honey glaze. And it's rough. You can feel it. You can feel that like weird chunkiness that I have in my golden honey glaze. So iron luster brushed over golden honey. And it's fine. It's just that golden honey is like gritty. It's like the non-skid paint you paint on basement stairs or something. A blue opal with Lynette opal on the rim. Okay. That is Nebula Blue with a little bit of My Blue Heaven over top. Prefer that over the Studio White. But it's good to know. It's a Chun Seafoam. What is it? No, I think it's Lunar Pink over Chun Seafoam. I think it just doesn't do as much as I thought it would. Night, Floating Blue, and Dirty Snow. I'm going to say that I prefer it over Night to over Blue. Same combo here. Louisiana Bayou over, yeah, pretty sure. Louisiana Bayou over Studio White. I just could have gone a little thicker and gotten more blue out of that. Micro Pearl with Floating Lavender. And I bumped it apparently on that Louisiana Blue dish. This was Red Crawls over Studio White in a refire. I guess it was just sitting in a really bad spot on the kiln shelf, so whatever it is, it'll be a pottery second. And then blue opal with Lynette opal. All right, it's the last shelf. You've made it this far. There's something weird down there. What is it? It's all bumpy. Could have gone thicker in some places on this. Okay, so it's satin patina and it's dove gray and raspberry mist, and I wish I'd gone thicker here. It looks like my dove gray really needed to be stirred more. My immersion blender is, well, it's dead. I just had to buy a new one on Amazon, so it was sort of kicking out and making this horrible noise, and I hate surprise noises, and it would jump me every time. So there were a couple glazes that I was just like, it's probably mixed enough, but I think the broken blender was hindering that. Oops. Well, that's a shame. It's gotten stuff on from the kiln shelf on the bottom of it, but it's not the fault of this glaze. And this is Red Lotus, and the inside was white. I have a bunch of Red Lotus down here, which you probably noticed. Let me pull some. So these are just dips of Red Lotus. And I did a few different ones here. I guess I could have gone a little bit thicker. I'm so afraid of that glaze running that I'm a little bit lighter on it. This one looks like it needs a refire. See that spot? Try refiring it. All right, so the big bowl. I've got some chattering here. And on the chattering section, I have just done sand dollar. The inside is Chun Seafoam and Floating Blue. And we do have a bit of shipwreck on this bowl. And very sadly, it has a couple flaws. That means it'll have to refire. Hopefully this is going to be enough to keep. I imagine I'll lose this line on a refire and most of my texture, but the flaws are enough that I'm going to have to go with it and refire it. It's a shame. It's very pretty. Okay, ancient copper and studio white. Ancient copper being new to me, I'm still kind of learning, so it looks like I would have preferred to do more of a hard line, less overlap between the two glazes. I like where they're separate. Don't love as much where they overlap, but I do like it. What else? What else? What is this? It's a shallot over studio white on sheltoe. It's gone a bit dark. I did have a little bit of chun seafoam on that rim. That's not showing amazingly well. Micro pearl with chun seafoam. I do really like that little vase. It's got kind of a purple edge where the two met. I like that. Blue hydrangea and sand dollar at the bottom. So it is a dip of nebula blue on the outside. The inside was poured with delft, and then it has a dip of dove gray. I don't know what I was expecting nebula blue and dove gray to do, but it wasn't quite that, or in my head it would have been more amazing. Let's look at the weird thing. Okay. Whoa, it's weird. I think it was it, oh, I saw it on somebody else's channel that they'd gotten the Berry Gems glaze, and it's like a sort of this rough matte. It looks like, yeah, I don't know. So there are a few glazes that I'm sort of testing out because I felt like they might look good on sort of my gingerbread houses at winter time. So it's definitely has sort of this like rough candy, bright candy sort of look to it. Yeah. What is her name? What is the name? What is it? Mugwort's Craft, I think. Who does that? Who did his test with that? Blue opal over studio white on sheltoe. Yeah, Mugwort's Arts and Crafts. She's really interesting. Oof. This has a flaw I don't love. It is raspberry mist over studio white with floating lavender on sheltoe clay, and it has a spot. Yep. I would guess that particular spot, it's not really a pinhole. It looks like probably organic matter. Chun seafoam with dirty snow on that rim. This one has a flaw too. I need to clean up in here better and wipe down all the surfaces. Great. Seaweed. Found my bottle of seaweed over studio white on sheltoe clay. All right, we're going to try to go through the last bit fast. It's a lot of ring dishes, so let's see. Dove gray and seaweed. Chun seafoam and seaweed. I haven't had seaweed out for a little while, so. Smoky Merlot over studio white. Night floating blue and dirty snow. Coyote's amethyst overnight. Coyote's amethyst over micro pearl. Ancient copper and river birch. Is that focused? Okay. This is a shallot over Studio White. Set those ones down. Raspberry Mist and Dove Gray. Don't think I did this one yet. Chansey Foam and Night. This is Delft with River Birch. That one's pretty. Seaweed over Studio White. That's on B-Mix Clay. I know, it's got a dirty bottom. The Seaweed over Micro Pearl. And I don't know. I think this is Louisiana Bayou over, oh, it can't be. You know what it is? It's Blue Opal over Micro Pearl, and that doesn't look very nice. Dove Gray and Raspberry Mist. That's it. Voila. A little bit smaller opening than usual, I think because I had those Christmas ornaments on the top shelf. That Iron Lustre is pretty. Yeah, I think everything looks pretty good. I think my favorite is going to be this ornament right here, just because the technical difficulty to throw this off the hump in one piece and actually manage to have it come through okay. And it's hollow inside and it's not heavy. Yeah. Oh goodness, as I throw it on the ground here. No, I'm just proud of my ability to manage to pull that off. So now if I just have to decide if it's less attractive counterparts are worth the effort. Thanks for watching, everyone. If you made it this far, I appreciate you sticking around until the end. I'm going to try to do another sort of quick bisque glow tonight, more glazes. It's getting to be pottery season, so I'm excited to really test out some combos. I have some fun videos planned for the end of this coming month, so I'm excited. It's going to be a great winter for pottery and a great winter for YouTube videos about pottery, so I would love it if you liked and subscribed. Thanks for watching.